All right, college algebra students, so far so good. You now have access to the textbook. So now in this video, what I'm going to do is go to Pearson and kind of walk you around their interface. All right, so without any further ado, let me share my screen. And right now what you're looking at is our home screen. What I've done is over here to our left, there's a link that says My Math Lab. So if you click on that, that'll ask you to open what we're doing in a new tab. Remember, this is a new website that you're going to. It's separate from Canvas and GCC. And then you're going to sign in. All right, so you've done all the signing in. You've got your access to your textbook. Um, follow their little links, username, password, you get signed in. Um, Once you get signed in, what you'll see is their overall all the access to the Pearson material that you have. Of course, since I'm a math instructor, I've got a lot, but we're, find your 151 class and press on that. What you're currently seeing is what I'm going to look at, but let me press another button and I'll show you what you're looking at. All right, so here's what the student home looks like at the moment. At this time, what you see is a bunch of information. These little dots that you see represent items that are due on January 23rd. And then you see a whole bunch of other buttons over here. But before I do anything else, what you're looking at is the current stuff that for the next 2 weeks. But I think what you should do, let me show you this first. Press entire course. And when you do that, there's an announcement that says, welcome to my math lab. All right. And then right below that, there's a link that says browser check. I highly encourage you to actually do this browser check first to make sure that your browser, whether I'm in Google Chrome right now, works and is compatible with everything that you're going to see as it opens up Windows. So press browser check and it's going to tell you whether you have the correct version or not. If you don't, it's going to give you a little warning, perhaps give you a little information about what's wrong. Maybe you just need to simply update your browser or change your browser, but I'm good to go. All right. So now that I'm good to go, right, let me go ahead and share with you what you're seeing over here. Let me go back to the current, because this is what you'll usually see. But I want to kind of note some things and walk you around. You'll notice that what you have, all right, are a bunch of buttons over here. There's tons and tons and tons of buttons. I can't get rid of them for some reason as the instructor. So let me just point out the ones that you're going to be using. Course home, that's a big one. Of course, that takes you to the screen you're currently looking at. Assignments, that's a link to the assignments that are currently due or past due. Student gradebook, that way you can check to see what your progress looks like. And then the e-text. All right, those are the big four that you should be opening up. If you want to explore the rest of these, be my guest. But usually I don't, those you shouldn't have any reason to go there. All right, so the big four: course home, assignment, student gradebook, and e-text. So that's what I'm going to show you here in a moment. All right, so if you go to course home, obviously you're seeing what you're seeing right now. You basically see a 2-week layout. You can change that as if you wanted to, as well as current assignments that are due at the moment. And right now, since our first test is January 23rd, you note that all this review material, algebra basics, polynomials, etc., are due on January 23rd. A reminder, homework is soft. All right, so I know these are due on 11:59 on January 23rd, but you can still go back and improve homework scores after that date. So there's your course home. You can either go to an assignment by clicking at this juncture, but a lot of times my students go to assignments by pressing the assignment key. All right, what that does is show you everything. Right now, since we're in the first week of our class, there's not a whole lot. But if we were, several weeks into class, if you scroll down, you would see everything. Things that are past due, things that are currently due, everything would be there. So let's just go ahead and dive into a particular homework set just to kind of show you around. Well, there is a My Math Lab orientation. If you're new to My Math Lab, I highly recommend you do that. It walks you through some of the interface as well. So please do that. But if you're ready to start your homework, how about I go to R4? All right, this is about polynomials, and there's 44 problems in this current set. All right, I know that seems like a lot, but on my end, what I've done is the homework should take you 1 hour, all right, if not two. If it's taking you more than 2 hours to do a homework set, that's an indication that something is wrong and you better start asking questions. There's a general misunderstanding. So I try very hard, even though This set has 44, some have 20, some have 16. It doesn't really matter. What I try very hard on my end is to keep things up to a 1 hour of work. Just to, the fact that you're a student, maybe it'll take you two. Anything past two means there's a problem. You better start asking questions. But you can start at question 1 and go through. You can go to question, 24, like I'm going to do right now, and you can start getting to work. All right. As I mentioned, this is review. Let me maximize this window. So, hopefully the terminology and everything seems familiar to you. So what they're asking us to do in this particular example is to multiply two polynomials. If you remember how to do it, get to it. All right. But let me also point out there's some self-help tools down here at the bottom. There's a help me solve this, which will literally take that problem and walk you through. So they're talking about this idea of FOIL. So the first times the first, x times x. Well, let me enter that. That's x. Kind of show you the interface. To get a exponent, you'll press that little key right down in here with the little power, right? And I've got x squared. Check answer. It's going to tell me that you're right. Nice work, right? The O part is 7 times x. Well, that's 7x. If we rewrite that, check answer, right? I'm good so far. 6x, 6 times x is obviously 6x. Good answer. Check. I'm good to go, right? And then 6 times 7 is 42, right? Check answer. I'm good to go, right? And then, so they're literally walking me through it. So now that we've done the FOIL to this, there's what we have, right? And then, of course, the next thing it's going to ask us to do is to combine like terms. The only thing that's combined is 7x. So we got x squared, right? 7x and 6x is 13x. Oops, I forgot the little plus sign. And plus 42. All right, and check answer. It looks like I'm right, right? And it also tells us that we're done. Okay, so that's the problem that I was currently stuck on and asking for help. You'll notice what happens when I close it is it changed the problem on me. And I, as a math instructor, like that. All right, so the idea is the same, just the numbers are different, kind of like your test. All righty, so I can now, hopefully that helped got me through that. View an example. What that does, it's a little bit different than help me solve, because rather than helping you solve the one that you're on, view an example does pick some new numbers. And rather than being interactive like the help me solve this, it actually walks you through. So it reminds you that we're having to do FOIL. It tells you what the first times first was, continue, tells you what the O is, what the I is, what the L is, putting it together, combining like terms. So it's a different problem. Oops, sorry. And then once you get out of there, notice that the problem that you're currently working on hasn't changed. All right, so help me solve it. This is interactive, right, with the current problem that we're doing, and it walks you through, right? Or there's the view an example, which gives you an example that's similar and walks you through, all right, without having to do any interface. And then there's the get more help. When you press the get more help, you have several options. Some of the problems have a video. This video is made by Pearson, not me. My videos are on Canvas, but there's a video that's associated with one that'll kind of walk you through. There's another instructor that'll literally coach you through it. Textbook, if you press the textbook, it'll take you to the exact textbook section that'll give you a review problem that you should have done. And if all else fails, you can do the Ask My Instructor, right? Let me go ahead and show you that one. What this does is it sends an email to me. It'll tell me where you're at, what problem you're working on, and then you can give me some, something, Mr. Rivera, I don't remember doing this, or I keep getting the wrong answer, even though I'm right, whatever the case might be. And then you send it. I'm not going to do that at this moment, but if you send it, what that does is it sends the email to me. I know where you're at. I know what time you're doing this. All right. And then I can give you feedback from there. Sometimes what I'll do, if there's several of you are asking the same question, that's probably what I'll start my class with, is like, hey, everybody's working on problem number 20, problem number 24 from R4. Let's take a look at this as a class. All right. Or I'll coach you along the way via email, or if we need to, we schedule a Zoom call. All right. So that's pretty much what the homework looks like. Let me go ahead and quickly FOIL this out and show you some other stuff. So let's just say I make a mistake. I say that this is x squared plus 72, right? I basically forgot the O and the I. When it goes through a check answer, right, it'll tell me that I'm not correct. Check your work carefully, watch out for your signs. So it gives me a little bit of feedback. I know what I did is I forgot the O and the I. So 9x and 8x, that's 17x. So I got to add that in there, right? And check answer, and it tells me that I am right. Okay, let me do the next one really quick. So I want to show you something. Again, if I FOIL this out, I'm purposely going to make a mistake here, right? So 2x, plus 10, right? Clearly that is wrong, right? But there's my method to my madness here. So again, it's basically coaching me along. Hey, obviously I didn't do FOIL. It's basically showing me that FOIL process. All right. But I want to show you, let me go ahead and keep that wrong. Let me get out of there. And what I want you to see is now that I've done some homework, notice that some things have changed on the homework. 24 has a little check. 25 should have a little X like 22, but I'll use that. And so I've got something wrong. I've got something right. So right's good, obviously, right? And the X is bad. I can always come back and fix that, all right? Or go to another problem. So there's basically your question interface. If I now go to the student grade book, let me press that key, right? This will tell me what my percent is. Again, by the syllabi, remember, I'm going to take this percent, multiply it by 400 to give you your homework score. Right now, I haven't done too much, but it kind of shows me where I've been working. Obviously, we just worked in R4. I did 1 out of 44 problems correct. So my current score is 2.27. Tell me the time that I spent, what time I checked in, and I'm actually seeing all this information as well. I actually get even more information. So for those not doing your homework, I can look at this and tell you whether you're doing your homework or not. All right. So anyways, so there's your student grade book. And again, multiply that by 400 and you get that. If all else fails, if you're kind of more, I want to see what the textbook has to say, you can go to the textbook. Right now we're in our chapter review. So I'll go to our 4, that's where we're at. All right. And then, I can view the text, I can watch videos, whatever the case might be. So I'm just going to view the text. And so when I press that, uh, we'll see how fast our internet is. And what I'm getting, come on, internet. And what I'm basically getting is what the textbook looks exactly like. Eventually these pages will load up. So here I am, I asked for R4, there's R4. And there's literally what things look like, the explanations, the examples, et cetera, et cetera. And I think eventually if we keep pressing some buttons here, sorry, my internet seems a little slow today. Let me press enter. Usually it's not this slow. I apologize. Okay. Yeah. So there's, oops, I'm already in R4 so I really jumped. But that gives you an example. It's literally what the textbooks looks like. I don't know why it jumped all the way to R8 when I went as R4, but that's also another review chapter. Alrighty. So there is a quick look at, let me go ahead and close that and go back to our main menu and our course home. All right. So keep in mind, all right, again, there's a lot of other buttons to be pressing and to be looking at. But what I've done is showed you the big 4, right? Your course homepage, your assignment pages to see everything, checking your grade, right, and your percent, as well as a link to the textbook itself. So those are the big 4 that you should be using from time to time. So there you have it. You've got access. You now have a little quick synopsis of what the interface looks like. Of course, the best way to learn is to get in there and do it yourself and get started. Like I said, our first test is coming up next week. I believe actually it's January 24th is our test. Overall, this review, we need to make sure that you have a good foundation so that you can hit the ground running and do well in college algebra. All right, so you guys are almost done with the getting started module. I think there's a couple more pages where you'll see me in some more videos coming soon. I'll talk with you guys all later.